Welcome back to the channel. At Ashridge house this morning, first duathlon of the year, so looking forward to seeing how this goes. It's actually a European qualifier, so first sort of big sort of race of the year as well, I suppose, just to try and get my qualifying spot for next year's Europeans. Early start up at 5 this morning, and got down here just about 8 o'clock. Roads were pretty bad, to be fair. Weather's not looking great. Arrived at the course, and actually the organisers have pushed back the race for an hour due to a bit of flooding and sort of water on the roads, and just for the technical officials really to have a good drive around, make sure everything's safe, I suppose, for the competitors. It's a sprint and a standard distance going on today. The run course is 8 laps, shortened course to get off some of the grass. Ashridge is normally a good course, to be fair. It's got a bit of trails or a little bit of grass running on it, but they've cut all of that out to keep you on the sort of tarmac and gravel tracks around Ashridge House, which is a National Trust property. So that should be good. And then just on the bike course itself, yeah, the roads weren't looking great on the way in, so there's a little bit of lying water. I think they've actually put a car next to one of the areas that's flooded, just to get the athletes to just ride around that section. So to be fair, I think it'll be no risks on the bike today, not go stupid, hopefully go out, have a good run, and then maybe just not push too much on the bike today with the conditions being as they will, or as they are. So we'll just see how that goes. I think maybe just work the flatter, more hilly uphill sections, but just take it careful on some of the downhills and things like that. There's a couple of speed bumps as well as you come through the estate, so I think it's just about just being a bit mindful. You don't need to ruin your whole season, or actually not just your season, but also if you come off on the bike as well, it's not good all round. So yeah, so hopefully just be a bit careful on the bike. I mean, it's not raining now, so it's just a bit of the water that's still lying around on the ground from the past few days. So we'll see how it goes. 8 laps run, 3 laps on the bike, and then 4 more laps on the run to finish. So hopefully should be a good race. Looking forward to it. Cross country last weekend went pretty well, so I think I'm in a big volume of training at the moment, so my sort of fatigue level upon my training peaks was up into 3 figures, which when it gets to that, I know I'm sort of right in the big sessions. So, and I think my form's probably not quite where I need it, because I'm coming off quite a bit of volume. So today's just tick the box, get it done, and enjoy the race, hopefully. So we'll see how the day goes. So it's been a little bit longer than I thought to get back, in terms of giving you a bit of a recap of the actual race. The race went really well. 3rd overall, so really chuffed with that. Had a good day out in the end. Good bike split. Good solid first run. Second run, a little bit of room for improvement, but not a bad run all in all. So yeah, just a bit of I suppose quick race review really. First run, we set out with a sprint race as well, so a little bit difficult to probably just see who was where and what that looked like. Barney Reid actually came in the first run well up in terms of time over the rest of us. In terms of, I think he ran 30:30, so it took about 2.5 minutes out of myself. I ran a pretty solid sort of 33:10 for the first run. It was under 10k. But 5:37 miling for me, which is probably on point with where one of my sort of better runs, I would have thought. I think at the Worlds in 2021, I think I ran a 5:30 splits, which was on a really quick sort of road course that was out and back down a river. So pretty chuffed with that, considering it was an 8-lap circuit on a sort of gravel, a few puddles. So I'm really pleased with the sort of 5:37 average sort of miles splits for that. So yeah, came off the first one in about 6th. Managed to get through transition pretty quickly. Actually didn't have my bike shoes on the bike this time, just because the weather was pretty damp, pretty miserable, and wanted to just get the feet into the shoes and run across the grass. Had a pretty good transition, straight on the bike. Sort of moved up from 6th to about 4th pretty quickly over the first sort of lap, and then worked my way back up to Thomas Hales, who was sort of 3rd at the time, and we'd had a bit of a back and forth in terms of the bike. I managed to sort of get past him on the 2nd lap, but I got held up in a bit of traffic behind some of the sprint duathletes, which was a shame. He sort of managed to work his way back up to me, and then after that, I think managed to into end of lap 2, managed to get back past Tomo's again. So and then sort of managed to ride myself away from him and back up to sort of Barney Reid, who was 2nd at the time. So I managed to pass him sort of on lap 3, and really worked hard then. Just tried to put as much power down as possible. Try not to over sort of work on the hills. So just keep my power pretty consistent, especially on some of the hillier undulating sort of elements. So I managed to work my way back up to 2nd, and actually got the second fastest bike split of the day, which I'm really chuffed about. I think it was a 1:04:37 for me. Pat Wright, who won overall, who's a sort of, I think, looking at spin data and cycling time trial, CTT, he's just sort of 47 and sub. I think he might even be a very low 18-minute man on the 10 as well. So real fast TT guy. So to be a minute and 10, minute and 20 to him, really chuffed. I think he took about 3 minutes out of me at the British Champs. So I'm really pleased with that ride in terms of not being too far off Pat. And then I had a bit of a lead going into the third section, into the run. But Tomos, who I managed to sort of pull about a minute out of him on the bike, he'd sort of managed to run his way back up to me by the sort of end of the 2nd lap, I think it was, on the run. I think, to be fair, the first mile I didn't run that great off the bike, so maybe something to work on in terms of how I can get my transition and get back into that sort of pace on the 2nd run. Possibly as well that I am maybe trying to ride a little bit harder than I normally would, just because my bike's improved so much, that I try and make the most of that bike split now. But the run splits weren't too bad. The positive side was every mile was quicker. So I started off about 6:20 and worked back down to sort of 6:05, I think it was, by the last mile. But still got a bit of work to do, as some of the guys, looking at the results, I think Pat Wright was 16:33, Tomos, who eventually finished 2nd, was 16:55, and I was 17:59. So and Barney Reid was a 16:59 as well. So he was probably a bit, in fairness, not as quite on it as he was on the first run. But yeah, so I was losing a minute there to the other 3 around me. So maybe that's something I need to just really work on, or maybe I just need to push a little bit harder on that final run. But all in all, third overall, I was a 45 to 49 slot for next year in terms of the Europeans. Just secured that. I'd taken the first spot for that. I move up age group next year. So all in all, really pleased with the day. Bike seems to be going well. I think hopefully extra weights that I'm now doing in terms of my Friday session. So Christmas upgraded the kettlebell from 16 kilogram up to 20 kilograms, so I'm lifting 4k more on my squats and all of the kettlebell work. So I think there's another little bit of an improvement I can make there, because some of those exercises I'm still feeling okay on. So we could be looking at getting a bigger kettlebell over the next month or so as well, so I think that's really helping. Plus the extra watts I'm riding in terms of my sessions, that's up from, so I think it was 285 up to 289 now, so or it might be a little bit more than that, so just incrementally that's gone up slightly as well. So and last weekend as well, I was really in the middle of a big block of training here, so I was not, my form on Training Peaks was sort of -20 or something like that. So when I'm coming to the big races, that form will shoot up hopefully to 10, maybe plus. So all in all, really chuffed with the day. Looking forward to the next race, which is Podium 5k in Leicester, followed by the British Champs on the 24th of March, and then sort of gearing up towards Alsdorf Powerman in Germany. So we'll see how the next few races go. If you haven't, like and subscribe, and hopefully see you all out there racing soon.